I'd like to talk about how the basic laws of physics apply to relationships. Doesn't that sound silly? But it's not. It's really not. Hi. One of the reasons I enjoy these little talks is I often get to examine things that seem outrageous but are actually very practical and very usable. And here's one today. I'd like to talk about how the basic laws of physics apply to relationships. Doesn't that sound silly? But it's not. It's really not. Here's an example. Let's take one of the basic laws of physics, something you may have learned in high school, Newton's first law, the law of inertia, which states that a body tends to remain at rest unless it is in motion, and will remain in motion unless it is acted upon by another outside force. All right, that's pretty basic physics, but that also applies to relationships. Because our relationships are like that in the sense that if we don't act on them, if we don't do things with them, if we don't have outside influences, then they become static, staid, and boring. So even something as simple as the basic law of entropy, which is what Newton is talking about here, really applies to physics. And the lesson from physics is that if we're going to do anything with our relationships, we need to act on them. We need to move. We need to take outside forces and influences. Otherwise, they'll just be stale and static. Now, this even applies to some exotic parts of physics. For example, quantum mechanics talks about spooky action at a distance and entanglement, and that can be seen as how it is that we or people we know often have the same ideas at the same time, or think of each other or the same thing at the same moment. It is, after all, basic physics. Entanglement. So here's one other example. There's physics and their relationships, and they are not separate. They're two parts of life that have a lot to offer to each other. So when you think about your relationships, think about what it is that the basic laws of physics might be able to contribute to you, the success of your relationships, the happiness of your life, and your future. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to my channel.